So thank you so much for joining me here today for my best of 2019. This is probably my most favorite video to film of the year. If you hear some noises here down below, that is my kitty cat who I'm probably gonna have to move. He's playing with Christmas ornaments on the tree, and I have to say that Saul, our cat that we got this year, is probably my favorite thing. He's actually, of course he's not a thing, but he's my favorite thing from 2019. He's been such a sweetie and we love him so much. He's so cuddly and cute and such a love bug. And so he's my absolute favorite thing from 2019. So we love you, Saul. He's our favorite. I love him so much, and I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye to Saul. So we have just loved having Saul as an addition to our family. We adopted him back in the beginning of September. So he is my favorite from 2019, but we are here to talk about beauty products. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me here today. My name is Trish, and I mostly talk about green beauty products. So I think pretty much everything here that I'm gonna talk about is green beauty in the clean beauty space. There are a couple things that are exceptions, but for the most part, everything is in the green beauty world. There are a couple of housekeeping things I want to talk about just really quickly. I did get my hair done yesterday. For those of you who might not know, I am growing out my grays. So what I did is I did not get my grays touched up. What I had my stylist do, or my colorist do, is she met the line of demarcation and put in a bunch of highlights. So I had her do that because my hair is pretty dark brown and I wanted that contrast to be not as stark for the grow out. So she just put in a bunch of highlights and she put in kind of a ashy blonde toner so that the grays don't look quite as, like I said, so there's not as much of that contrast. I will be doing a growing out my gray update probably in 2 or 3 weeks. This will be my last video of 2019. I'm gonna take a break from filming for a couple of weeks when my family's home and my kids are out of school for the holiday break. So like I said, this will be the last video for 2019, and then I think maybe the next video that I do will be a video solely dedicated on my gray journey. So that is a little housekeeping thing in terms of what's going on with my hair. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is, rather than doing dedicated videos on my favorite products from the Boxwalla Beauty Box for 2019, or a dedicated video on my favorite products from the Clean Beauty Box of 2019, is I'm just gonna go ahead and right here in this video tell you what my favorite boxes were from 2019 from both of them. For me in 2019, both of those subscription boxes had one box that really blew me away, I fell in love with. So rather than do a retrospective of the entire year, I'm just going to include that one box in my best of 2019 because I just feel like they, you know, like I said, they were just standout boxes for me. So let's go ahead and kick off the best of 2019 with my favorite box from the Clean Beauty Box of 2019. And this probably won't be any surprise. My favorite from the Clean Beauty Box of 2019 was the box when they featured Moss. And I absolutely fell in love with Potency. And I really did enjoy the Ambar Micellar Essence, and actually this is my second bottle of this. I was lucky enough to get an additional box that I believe I actually purchased this from a viewer, so thank you very much. I was really happy to get another box. I actually wanted to purchase another box, but these sold out so quickly that I wasn't able to get my hands on another box, so I was really happy to go ahead and be able to purchase another one from a viewer. So I fell in love with both of these. If you watch my mixology video that I did a few videos back, I spoke a lot about Potency and how I like to mix this with other products, but these were both huge hits for me. Potency is such a gorgeous emulsion type product. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I feel like I've talked about this product a lot already in the past, but suffice to say, I absolutely fell in love with this box. I love both of these products, and Potency is just going to be a long-term favorite of mine in the years to come. And then moving on to the Boxwalla, my favorite Boxwalla Beauty Box of 2019. This is not going to be any big surprise for you guys. was the box that featured the Heart of Gold. Let's go ahead and start by talking real quickly about the Modern Love Gommage Gel. How I use this is not so much as the gommage, which is like the exfoliating way to use this mask. I end up using this as a moisture mask, and what I do is I use a thin layer of oil first on my skin, and then I layer the Modern Love on top of that. So I let that sit for maybe about 10 minutes, and then I just rinse it off, and my skin is super plump and hydrated and moisturized. I absolutely love the mask for that. And so I already mentioned that mixology video that I did, and in that video I also talked a lot about the Sweetbriar Hydrating Nectar, and I mix this with pretty much everything under the sun, and I also use this alone as well. And this is just kind of like Potency, another one of those beautiful emulsion type products. This one is a little bit lighter than Potency. I enjoy using them both. I actually mix the two together. This has become a huge favorite of mine over this year, and I absolutely love it. And this is actually my second bottle of this one as well. I purchased a backup box for myself because I fell in love with all of these products. And then the third product that was in the Boxwella Beauty Box featuring Heart of Gold is the Sea Change Cleansing Balm, and I really love this cleansing balm. This has become a fast favorite as well. So I have spoken about all of these products a lot, so I don't want to delve in too much about them, but those are my favorite boxes from the Boxwella Beauty Box and the Clean Beauty Box from 2019. They really knocked it out of the park, in my opinion, with both of those boxes, and I really love both of those subscription boxes, and I highly recommend them both. So let's go ahead and move into the rest of my favorite products from 2019, and how I've set this up is like how I would use these products in my regular routine of getting ready in the morning or the nighttime. So let's talk about a cleanser first, and this was kind of a surprise hit for me, and this is a recommendation from Maggie at Tenderforms. And if you don't follow her on Instagram or YouTube, I highly recommend that you do. She is just such a creative person and just creates beautiful content. And she was talking about, I think it was in an Empties video, she highly recommended the Marie Veronique collaboration with Christina Holy, this beautiful oil cleanser. And this has been such a wonderful discovery for me. As I've talked about many times on my channel, I'm a huge oil cleanser fan. I tend to be partial to the ones that emulsify off, and this has just been a wonderful discovery. So I really like it because it is on the thick side, so it feels wonderful for massage, and then it's just got such an interesting texture. And then as you start massaging in the water with the oil on your skin, it starts to emulsify, but it almost has a slight lather to it, which I just find so interesting. And it just feels so good, and it feels like it's doing such a wonderful job of removing just grime and, you know, cleansing your pores and removing makeup. And it's just a really fascinating experience. It's unlike any other oil cleanser that I've ever used. I wouldn't say that it turns into a foaming, you know, milky foaming cleanser, but it almost has that type of feeling. It's really interesting. It's really fascinating. There are no essential oils in here, and it has a curious smell. I know that Maggie has likened it to kind of a chicken broth smell. I didn't really get that scent so much. It almost smells like vinegar flavored potato chips to me. That's the scent that I get to it. I don't find that it's particularly offensive. It doesn't bother me in any way. It's just kind of like when I'm putting it on my skin, I'm like, oh yeah, it kind of smells like vinegar potato chips, and then it doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't take away from the experience. I really love it. I enjoy using it. I look forward to using it. Like I said, it's very efficacious. It does the job, and then it also leaves my skin feeling very soft and supple and not stripped or dry at all. The only flaw I would say in this design is that you have to shake it, and when you're shaking it, you have to put your finger over the nozzle or whatever you want to, the pump spout. So it's a little bit awkward, I have to say. So, and because you have to shake it pretty hard. So I'm not exactly sure how to remedy that situation. I think maybe the pump could be a little bit different, like maybe a nozzle like this might be more effective so that the product doesn't leak out as you're shaking it. So I tend to use my thumb when I shake it, but even that, some of the product leaks out a little bit. So I would say that's the only flaw. It's a little awkward when you're shaking the product. to not have it leak out. But other than that, it's a fantastic cleanser. I really, really love it. Definitely my favorite cleanser discovery of 2019. Last year, I did a favorite cleansers of 2018 roundup. There were 6 of them. Those are still my top favorite cleansers, but I would add this one to that roster. So I will link that video up there if you're curious to see what cleansers I'm still loving from last year. I am going to add the Heart of Gold Sea Change Cleansing Balm as well to a favorite cleanser of 2019. So these two I'm going to add to that list. So I really love both of these cleansers. Both are fantastic finds from 2019. So after a cleanser, I like to use toners. I've got several new finds from 2019 that I'm in love with. The first one, again, will probably be no big surprise to you. This is the Live Botanical Radiance Elixir. And this is just a beautiful toner. I will say though that this one that I have, the Rose and Tulsi, this is the autumn blend. So let me just clarify what Carolyn is doing with her elixirs here. She's going to be having these seasonal elixirs. So the base will always be the same. So there's always going to be a mushroom complex with snow mushroom, reishi, Oregon grown shiitake. There's going to be other beautiful antioxidants and botanicals that will always be consistent throughout the elixirs. And then through the seasons, the other ingredients will change. Like for instance, the featured ingredients in the autumn blend was Rose and Tulsi, and I am just so in love with this. I don't know if next autumn it will be Rose and Tulsi again, or if it's going to change. That I'm actually not sure about, but this is just so beautiful. I think what I mentioned in my last time that I talked about this, it has this beautiful kind of cinnamon tone to it that I just absolutely love. What she has going now is for winter, and that is a blood orange and turmeric elixir. I have not smelled that yet, but I'm sure it's gorgeous. So this one you can no longer get, so I'm not going to talk about it too much longer, but I love this idea of these seasonal elixirs that Carolyn is going to be doing. So that is a huge favorite for 2019. Another toner that I have fallen in love with for 2019 is Laurel's Hydrating Elixir #1, and this is her Phytonutrient Replenish. This is a beautiful toner, and the mist on this is really fine, so it's really, really lovely, just a beautiful toner experience. So this has rose, frankincense, and sandalwood in it, and I have to say the sandalwood in here it's just really beautiful. It's not too strong, it's not too overpowering. Sometimes sandalwood, especially on your face, can sometimes just be a little bit too much, but this is just perfection. There's also reishi mushroom in here, rose hip fruit and seed. I really recommend going to check out her website as well as Carolyn's website for more details on all these ingredients, because they're just so beautiful, and I love how both of them describe their ingredients and just their process and their philosophy. But this is also a huge favorite of mine from this year. I love using this, especially before bedtime, because I just, like I said, I feel like the sandalwood is really calming. And then another favorite that actually took me really by surprise is this Youth to the People Adaptogen Soothe and Hydrate Activated Mist. This mist is really, really fine. I was so blown away by how fine this mist is. That's one of the highlights of the mist, I would say. And also it smells really nice. It's just I can't really describe the scent of this, but it's really lovely and really, really pleasant. So this one too has reishi mushroom in it. It also has hyaluronic acid and lactic acid, and if you've been following me for the last year, you know how much I love lactic acid. I think in my 2018 video I said that lactic acid was my favorite ingredient of 2018. So let me see if I can give you an idea of how fine that mist is. It's so fine. I really love it. It's just so beautiful, and yeah, and the scent is just really light. I don't know, I'm kind of at a loss for words, surprisingly, about how to describe that scent, but it's just really beautiful. It's almost just kind of like a light floral smell. And I did purchase that during the Sephora sale, so I haven't had it for a really long time, but I find that I just want to keep reaching for it morning and night. And as you can see, it was really hard for me to pick a favorite between these three because they are all favorites from this year. So then after my toner, I usually use some kind of a hydrating serum. One of my favorites from 2019 is Live Botanical's Illuminating Exfoliating Serum. I'm not sure if this is a brand new product from 2019, but I do feel like she has updated it in 2019 when she did her brand refresh. This has willow bark in it, green tea. It also has mothbean in it, and I think mothbean is kind of one of those like botanical retinols, and it also has lactic acid in it. So I think that the mothbean is actually a new ingredient in here, but it is just a really gorgeous serum. It's really light, and you can see it's kind of liquidy. It's sort of running down my hand there, and it absorbs really quickly. I haven't had any issues with other products pilling on top of it, so no big surprise that I love it because it has lactic acid in it. It layers well with other products, and it's just really easy to use. And then what also is not going to be a big surprise is the big favorite from the year is the Heart of Gold Sweet Briar Hydrating Nectar. So a bit of a repeat here because this was in the favorite 2019 Boxwalla Beauty box, but then I also have to say this is probably my favorite hydrating serum slash, you know, emulsion type product from the year. Absolutely love it. This will probably be a staple product in my arsenal for years to come. Absolutely love this product. Huge, huge favorite. So at nighttime over this type of a product, I will typically use an oil serum. I have completely re-fallen in love with L'Oreal's antioxidant serum. I think I had this a long time ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I forgot how beautiful this is. This has such a lovely scent of neroli, jasmine and sandalwood, and then of course it has just gorgeous plant oils like borage seed oil, evening primrose oil, sea buckthorn oil that are locally sourced by L'Oreal, all organic. And once again, I have to refer you over to her website so that you can read more about these beautiful oils. I've been so happy to have this back in my life. Huge, huge favorite for 2019. And then another favorite oil serum from 2019 is Live Botanicals First Light Brightening Oil Serum, and I'm adding this as a new product for 2019 because she has added ceramides to this product, and she's also added date seed to this oil serum. And date seed is kind of new to me, but apparently it's very calming, soothing, and it's anti-inflammatory. In addition to the ceramide and the date seed, it also has tetrahexyl decyl ascorbate, otherwise known as THD, and that is a vitamin C ester. It's got raspberry seed oil, rice bran, cranberry seed oil, calendula. Just a beautiful oil serum. I love this one as well. So obviously both of these are huge favorites of mine, or they wouldn't be in this video. I kind of alternate them depending upon what my needs are. I'm gonna get into my retinoid use in just a little bit here, but if I'm not using retinoids, then I might tend to reach for the Live Botanical First Light Brightening Oil Serum because that does have the vitamin C. So if I feel like I want vitamin C in the evening, then I'll reach for that one. If I feel like I don't, then I tend to reach for the L'Oreal Antioxidant Serum. So it's very stormy outside, and you probably just noticed the lighting change. My ring light just went out. So I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with this video because I have a very short window of time in which I can film this video. So you guys can tell me actually if you have a preference with me filming the video with the ring light, which is what was going on prior to the electricity going out. So do you prefer the lighting like this, which is just natural light, but basically there is no sunlight coming in at all? It is very rainy, cloudy, gloomy outside, very, very stormy. Or do you prefer the lighting that was going on before the electricity went out, which kind of helps to illuminate the room? So I guess this is a good way to get your guys' opinion on the lighting situation. But let's go ahead and proceed. And what I was going to start talking about is what I use during the daytime, because what I was talking about before is what I use at nighttime, where I typically use an oil serum on top of the kind of emulsion type serums. So during the day, what I will use on top of that is the Sunday Riley CEO. And this is a 15% THD, so that is the vitamin C ester. And they call this a serum, but it is really like a lotion. You can kind of see, and I will say with this lighting, I think it's easier for you guys to see the product. But you can see that this is like a lotion. And the reason why I like it is because it has been kind of hard for me to find in the green beauty space a lotion, a day cream like this that has such a high concentration of vitamin C. So that is why I've sort of compromised a little bit with the Sunday Riley with their ingredients. I wouldn't say that they're super clean by any stretch. And again, I know that clean and green doesn't really mean anything. There's no real definition of of what clean beauty means, what green beauty means, but just for the purposes of this video and our discussion, I wouldn't really consider Sunday Riley a clean beauty brand. But anyway, like I was saying, I do kind of compromise a little bit on the ingredients because they do have what I need. I love the texture of it. I love the fact that it's 15% of the THD, which is really what I want. So anyway, I really do love that, and it has been a favorite discovery of mine from 2019. This is my third bottle of it. It is very expensive, so I repurchased it during the sale. But yeah, I pretty much use this every day, and I really, really do like it. In the nighttime, if I do want to use a cream, which I do sometimes use on top of the oil, I have been really, really loving the Iolette Opulence Cream. This is a gorgeous cream. First of all, I love that packaging. The color is just so beautiful. And you will see that I've used a pretty significant amount of it. I would say about half the jar is gone. And first of all, I think when I've mentioned this before, I actually haven't talked about the scent, but the scent is just beautiful. It smells like kind of that orange flower water. And the ingredients in here are shea butter, butterfly bush, pomegranate, sea buckthorn, moringa. There's other ingredients in here too, but I don't want to list them all. But the texture is just perfection for me, in my opinion. It's thick, but it's not too thick. It absorbs really quickly, and it's just the perfect night cream. I really, really love it. So that has been my favorite night cream of 2019. I also really enjoy using balms, and I've mentioned in other videos that I've kind of gone back and forth with my love for balms. I was really into them maybe a couple years ago, and then my love kind of waned, and now I'm really back on the balm train. I really love using balms at nighttime. So like I said, I'll use my oil, and then sometimes I'll use the cream, sometimes I'll use a balm on top. My absolute favorite balm of 2019 is the Heart of Gold Moon River Renewal Balm. That's what she calls it, the Renewal Balm. And the smell is gorgeous. If you like frankincense, just like the really, really resinous frankincense, this is the balm for you. The texture is the texture of a balm that I prefer. The texture is quite firm. I'm pressing my finger pretty hard, and you can see that it's pretty stiff, and I actually like that. I talked about the La Par balm from the Boxwalla Beauty Box, that it was in the December Beauty Box, and that's very juicy and it's very loose. And while I like that, and I've been enjoying that balm a lot, I do prefer, like if I had to pick one over the other, I do prefer this firm type of balm. And the ingredients in here are saw butter, shea butter, and kapuaku butter. There's also camellia and meadow foam oils in here as well. And then the frankincense in here is the frankincense resin. It's not the essential oil. And the key with the resin in here, as opposed to the essential oil, is that there are healing actives like boswellic acid, which is not present in the essential oil. So that's just interesting to note about the resin. And so what I'll do is I just kind of take my finger and just sort of run it through the balm and then just warm it up in my hand. So you can kind of see that stiffness about it, and it just takes a little bit of heat from your finger to warm it up, and then I'll just like press it onto my face, and the scent is, oh, it's just so heavenly, so relaxing, and I'm just absolutely in love with the Moon River by Heart of Gold. So the other balm from 2019 that has been a huge favorite is the Noni Glow Face Balm. And this packaging is really great for travel. And I'm not exactly sure what it is in this product. I don't know if it's that noni fruit extract, but my skin just loves this product. This is on the medium side. This is right in the middle. It's not a super juicy balm. It's not a stiff balm. It's right there in the middle, but my skin loves it. I find myself reaching for this very frequently, and I love the packaging. It's very easy to apply. I love that you can travel with it. And what I love about this packaging, and this is why this has not been in an empties video yet, is when I was all done with it and I dug out every single last bit of this product, is I took another balm. I think I took the Yasuni from Earthwise, and I took it out of that packaging and I actually packed it into the empty container of this. So now I'm able to apply the Yasuni with this package. So the cool thing about this packaging is you can actually reuse it. So that's kind of cool. So now let's move on to my favorite eye treatment from 2019, and that is the Natural Logic Eternal Eyes. And I still have the one that she sent me, which is the 5 mil. I believe the full size is the 10 mil. I love how it's a roller ball, and the ingredients in here are vitamin C. So this one, interestingly, also has date seed, and that's going to protect against oxidative stress. There's also CoQ10 in here, green coffee bean, hibiscus, just a beautiful ingredient roster. And what's really nice about this oil is when you put it on under your eyes, it just stays put. It doesn't transfer, it doesn't get into your eyes, it doesn't migrate down, it doesn't irritate the eyes, and it's very moisturizing, and it's just been a real pleasure to use. So I really, really love this, and like I said, it's my favorite eye treatment from 2019. I have a couple favorite masks from 2019. I am just so in love with this one from Live Botanical. This is the Greenhouse Glow Antioxidant Mask, and this is a mask that you mix with water, but it's not a dry mask. So you can see, hopefully with this texture here, that it's creamy, you can see, but when you mix it with water, it kind of turns into, it doesn't like foam or froth or anything, but it gets extra creamy and extra thick. And I think that's because it has oatmeal in here. There's also snow mushroom, there's kapuaku butter, there's cranberry, raspberry, and pumpkin oil, plantain, and pumpkin seed powder. And what happens is you just use a little bit of water, and I think the water just activates all those ingredients, and it just feels so just like calming and soothing when you put it onto your skin, and it smells amazing. And it really, really does give you a glow, and it just feels beautiful and just so soothing, and I'm just so in love with it. And I don't have enough time to do like a mask and chat or anything, obviously, in this video, and I don't have any pictures, unfortunately, of me with this mask on, but maybe in the future I will do a demonstration so that you can just see how original and beautiful this mask is. I really, really love it. Carolyn, I feel like Carolyn just outdid herself with this mask. I don't think there's anything else on the market like it, or at least that I can think of, because usually when you mix water, it's in a dry mask. And I don't know, I just feel like I said, she just really outdid herself. It is really original. It's beautiful. It feels amazing going onto the skin, and I can't rave about it enough. So check out the Greenhouse Glow Mask if you're thinking about placing a Live Botanical order, or if you're on the market for a mask that is very soothing and healing. If you have sensitive skin, this might be a good one to check out. You should definitely check out the website and check out the ingredients and just explore and see if it seems like it's something that would be for you. But anyway, I can't recommend it highly enough. And then I've also really fallen in love in this year with the Fivenia Biocellulose masks. These are incredible. These have lots of herbs and peptides in it that just plump up your skin. So this would be perfect before you're going to an event, if you just want to look really alive and just really want to plump up that skin. There's Schisandra berries in here, goji berries, peony root, just a lot of Chinese herbs that are going to help, like I said, just enliven your skin and plump up your skin. So this has been a really great discovery for 2019 as well. So those are my two favorite masks from 2019. And then just to talk about real quickly, kind of like my favorite ingredient of the year, I would say is just definitely retinoids in general. I still really love Jordan Samuel's oil. I think this is great if you have sensitive skin or you've never used retinols before. This is my favorite for the oil. In terms of over the counter, I did end up getting the Sunday Riley, what do they call this? The high dose retinoid serum. And then I also have the Drunk Elephant one. I think both of these are great. Really recommend. I fell in love with both of these this year. And then I also do have a prescription one. This is the tretinoin 0.1%. So this is the prescription. And what I do with all these, I just kind of rotate them over the evenings. I can't even tell you exactly what my program is. I tend to use either the Sunday Riley or the Drunk Elephant maybe 2 to 3 times a week. I might use the prescription once a week, and then maybe Jordan Samuel once a week, and then I'll have like 1 night or 2 nights off of the retinoids. So that's kind of like my program, but I have to say retinoids have just been amazing for me this year. I really love it, and I think it's made a huge difference in my skin. The other thing that has been amazing is doing gua sha. I haven't really talked about it that much on my channel, but this is the tool that I have. I got it from Beth here in Portland. Beth Griffin's, and I will link her clinic below. She's fantastic. I absolutely love her, and I highly recommend her if you're in the Portland area. I'm not going to go into a demo of the gua sha here because I don't have enough time, and I don't really feel that comfortable in my expertise with the gua sha. Maybe I will later in a different video, but I really do feel like it has helped with my skin tone here. I feel like it's helped with my eyes and sort of like the bags I'll get under my eyes and the puffiness I'll get under my eyes. So this has just been an amazing tool, and I really love it, and it's just a huge favorite of mine for 2019 and something that I do feel like I'm going to continue with over the years. So moving on to makeup, I just have a couple that I want to talk to you about. I love blending the Michelle, I think this is the Sun Shield Liquid, and the Josie Maran SPF 47. I mix these two together. I usually have like a little tub that I just, squirt like, I don't know, 4 or 5 pumps of this and I don't know, 4 or 5 droppers of this, and I'll mix that together, and I just usually have that going, and I'll replenish that every week or two so that I just have that mixture already going so I don't have to do it every single morning. So this together has just been the perfect tinted moisturizer for me. I love it. I can't really think of anything better that I prefer. So this mixture together has been perfect favorite for 2019. And then kind of my favorite makeup product for 2019 has been bronzer. I did a favorite bronzers from 2019 video, so I will link that above here. I think it's going to be over here, so I will link that for you so that you can kind of see what all of them were. But probably my favorite one from the year was from Nudestix. This is not a green beauty brand, but I love this one called Sunkissed from Nudestix, and it's kind of this tawny terracotta brown, little bit of red in there, and it's just perfect. And I just kind of like dab it on my cheeks, sometimes over my nose. I'll use this as a blush every once in a while, but it's just this multi-purpose stick that I can also use on my eyes as well. This was just a great discovery. I've actually used this more than I thought I have because I'm trying to twist this up to show you more of the color, and I'm almost out of it. I didn't even realize that. So that shows you how much I have used this, because it usually takes me a long time to go through products, and the fact that I'm almost out of this really speaks to how much I've used this. So this is probably my favorite bronzer slash blush of the year for sure. And then the last product to tell you about is actually a relatively new discovery, but I am so in love with it that I have to tell you about it. And these are from Olio y Oso. These are their new lip products, and these are amazing. So this is the Crema lipstick, and this is an Abisco, and the packaging is adorable. And you can hear it's got that magnetic closure, which is so satisfying. And the Abisco is they're calling this their Hibiscus Pink. And it's just kind of a nice cool toned pinky color. And it's what I have on my lips today. And the base is in shea butter and olive oil. And it kind of reminds me of the Generation G Glossier lipsticks, or whatever they call them. The texture is a little stiff. It's almost like a stiff balm slash stain, but it feels really comfortable on the lips, and I just adore this color. This color feels like it was just made for me. And then this here is the Lucent Lip Sheen. So this is a lip gloss, and I am normally not a lip gloss person, but the texture, and here you can see it's got the doe foot, and the texture just feels really comfortable on the lips, and the gloss is not hyper glossy. And the two of these together look so complementary. And so the combination here, this is actually what I do have on my lips today for filming, is I use the Abisco, and then, oh, and I don't think I told you, this is Rosa Rosa. The color here is Rosa Rosa, and they call this a rosy pink. And I would say this is more neutral, where this one is maybe a little bit more on the cool side. Anyway, so what I did is I put Abisco on first and then I put Rosa Rosa on top, and I feel like they just work so well together, just really beautiful. And I did just want something kind of neutral on my lips today, nothing too overpowering, because I've got that kind of navy blue smoky eye going on, and I feel like it's just a very flattering lip, and I've been wearing it every day since I got it, so it has become a fast favorite. So I just had to include it in this favorites video because I am just completely in love with both of these. There's also a lip gloss called Opaline, and it almost acts like a lip balm. It just feels so comfortable on the lips and just so nourishing, but just with like the prettiest little sheen. Oh, I just love that one too. So that's it for the products. I just want to wrap up by talking about some of my favorite podcasts, because for 2019, I feel like that has been the year of podcasts for me. I listen to podcasts all the time. In the car, I love listening to podcasts when I'm in the shower, when I'm making dinner. So I just want to let you know what some of my favorite podcasts are, and I would actually love to know what your favorite podcasts are. I always want to know what podcasts people are listening to. So this is not highly original, but my favorite podcast is definitely The Daily that the New York Times puts out. I listen to it pretty much every single day, and I love it. If you don't listen to The Daily, I can't recommend it highly enough. The Daily is awesome. I also really love Conan O'Brien's podcast. I love listening to it. Some of my favorites from Conan O'Brien this past year have been his interviews with Tina Fey, Martin Short, Will Ferrell, Michelle Obama, Stephen Colbert. I really, really love the one with Stephen Colbert. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, that one was awesome as well. I really love listening to The Armchair Expert. That's with Dax Shepard, who was on Parenthood. I loved the show Parenthood, so I have a soft spot for Dax Shepard. My favorites from Armchair Expert this last year were his interview with Monica Lewinsky, which actually just was pretty recent, and I was very impressed by that one. I highly recommend that one. And then there was one with Tal Ben-Shahar, and I don't think he's still at Harvard, but he was a professor at Harvard. He might be at Columbia now, but he is all about positive psychology. That was a really, really good one. That might have been one of my favorite podcasts of the year. So the ones that I really, really love, I will link down below. So I will definitely link the Armchair Expert with Tal Ben-Shahar. I'll definitely link that below. I also really love the podcast called Broken Brain. And there was one specifically where they talked about, let's see, what was the guy's name? Oh, Dr. Ranjan Chatterjee. He was the guest, and he was talking about the importance of a morning routine. And I have never been, and I'm 50 years old, I have never ever meditated. I've been in and out of doing yoga for years. I'm actually not doing yoga right now, but so I've done, breathing exercises in yoga class, but I have never been one to meditate or do breathing exercises in the morning. But there was something about listening to this podcast where I thought, okay, I'm going to start doing these breathing exercises, which is basically like meditation, but I wouldn't say that I meditate. But anyway, I listened to this podcast in the middle of October, and ever since I listened to it, there was just something about the way he talked about doing this morning routine that I thought, I don't know, he just convinced me. So what I do, and I've been doing this I think I've missed 2 or 3 days since the middle of October, but ever since I listened to the podcast, I've been doing this, I don't know, meditation / morning, breathing exercises for 4 minutes every morning, and then doing stretching. And I just kind of do my own little, morning stretching for probably 4 minutes after I do my 4 minutes of breathing. And it has really been super helpful. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to jinx myself, but I highly recommend listening to that podcast. So I will link that below. The audio is really crappy, I have to say, because I think it was the first podcast he ever did. I'm blanking on the guy's name who does Broken Brain, but once you get listening to it, you get kind of used to it, and it's very, very worth it. And then I also really like the Paleo View. I don't necessarily listen to every single podcast that they do, but they did a really, really good one on Botox. So I had mentioned in my anti-aging video and kind of like what I do for anti-aging, I had mentioned like I probably wasn't going to do Botox, but I wasn't anti-Botox, and I was maybe down the road I would do Botox, but It was a really, really interesting podcast on Botox and just the dangers of Botox that aren't really talked about and aren't in the mainstream media, and made me rethink about any ideas or notions about wanting to do Botox in the future. So I highly recommend that one as well. And then last but not least, this last one was inspired by Mercedes from L'Amour et la Musique, and she mentioned the podcast interview. Let's see, the podcast is On Being, and the interview was with Anand Giridharadas, and I listened to that and I really, really enjoyed it and I got a lot out of it, but it made me go listen to more and watch some interviews with him. And the podcast actually that I got a lot out of was the podcast called Stay Tuned with Preet, and he interviewed Anand Giridharadas, and it was just amazing. They really dug in deep to some issues, and I really found it fascinating. So that's the podcast that I really recommend if you are interested in learning more about Anand Giridharadas and what he's all about and what he has to say. So again, I will link, I guess I have like maybe my top 4, top 5 podcasts that I listened to over 2019. And so I will link all those down below. So I think that wraps it up for my favorites of 2019. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for all of your support and your love over this whole year. I know in some past videos I've mentioned some tough moments that I've had to go through over this last year, and the outpouring of love and support has just meant so much to me, and you guys are just the best. And I love this little corner of YouTube that we've created together. So thank you guys so much again for everything, your love, your support, and I can't wait for 2020 and what that has to bring for us. And happy holidays to all of you, and I will see you in the new year. Bye.